your local election headquarters. This is Politics Today.
The Amarillo Zoo gets their official name change. Details on what that means moving forward. And Texas A&M AgriLife welcomes the community into their new facility. We're going to hear how this will change the agriculture industry now and in the future. Name changes, data centers, and fighting hunger. Thank you for joining us for Politics Today. I'm Andy Justice. There was a lot of political news this week, so we've got a lot to get to. Let's get started. So it turns out it is official. The Amarillo Zoo has now been transitioned to its new chapter as the Amarillo Zoo and Sanctuary. Politics Today's Princess Bryant has the story.
It was announced on the Amarillo Zoo Facebook yesterday that all the paperwork is now complete. This is a story we have been following since the end of last year, with Wild West Wildlife Rehabilitation Center Executive Director Stephanie Brady now running it as a nonprofit. The approval for the lease was announced last month by the Amarillo City Council. The zoo is no longer ran by the city, but will operate as a nonprofit, now known as the Amarillo Zoo and Sanctuary. Through the nonprofit, they will be able to change how the zoo is funded, the types of animals they could take in, and many other benefits.
The really neat thing about it is we're like at this point in time where we can make a huge difference that will be lasting for generations to come. So we need to be thinking not just but right now, but like what do we want our kids in the community, in the Panhandle, because it's the only zoo for almost 50 counties.
Brady adds taking the nonprofit model allows the zoo to receive more funding and allows the community to play a bigger part. As the Amarillo Zoo and Sanctuary goes under the transition, it will be closed from now until the 26th. In studio, Princess Bryant, KMR Local 4 News. Back to you.
Princess, thank you. The spring season begins. It's time to open up Wonderland Park, this time with new owners and what they're calling a renewed sense of fun. After months of renovating and restructuring, Wonderland now open for business. Officials say they are excited to usher in a new era of fun while helping families build new joyful memories at the park. To see our continuing coverage of the Amarillo Zoo and Sanctuary and Wonderland schedule and how to buy tickets, head over to our website, myhighplains.com. Happening now, the city of Portales says utility rate increases planned for 2024 through 2026 did not go into effect. They report in late 2022, the city council approved 5 years of utility rate increases. The city says they put in the changes for 2023, but didn't put in the rate increase for years 24, 25, or 26. The city says these rate changes were necessary to close a financial gap, and this mistake creates a financial shortfall. They are immediately enacting the 2026 rate change. The Texas House State Affairs Committee met for hours today to discuss data centers. Texas already has the second most data centers in the country, and that number continues to grow. State Capitol correspondent Adam Schwager reporting on what Texas energy and data center leaders told lawmakers in Austin.
We're going to say data center a lot through this interim.
Texas has quickly become a prime destination for data centers.
Low-cost energy, available workforce, land that they can acquire.
According to the American Edge Project, Texas only trails Virginia in both existing and planned data centers. And those future projects will be more intensive than the existing ones.
10 years ago, a big data center was a 40-megawatt data center. That was a big one.
Okay.
Today we're talking about 500 to 1,000. So the scale is all of a sudden going off the charts.
To connect to the grid, a data center must make sure someone will create the amount of electricity they need. With Americans expressing concerns about their energy bills going up due to data centers, President Donald Trump said this during the State of the Union.
So I'm telling them they can build their own plant, they're going to produce their own electricity.
While Trump's proclamation isn't legally binding, Texas leaders say they're treating it that way.
We are taking it as something that we have to do to ensure that residential ratepayers are not paying for the costs that are being borne on the system.
While lawmakers brought up a couple of issues their communities see with data centers,
how is that going to impact my constituents as in terms of water availability?
most of the discussion was about how data centers can be a net positive for Texas.
Again, I go back to Loudoun County, Virginia. they've lowered taxes 2 years in a row, directly attributable to data center revenue that's come in. And so they've
Lawmakers also heard about how ERCOT and the Public Utilities Commission plan to streamline their electricity approval process for data centers to increase speed and reliability.
So we recognize that we needed to change that process in order for this to be able to work for the economy of Texas and for the growth that we want to see happen here.
The data center discussions will continue throughout the rest of the 2026 legislative off year. In Austin, I'm Adam Schwager.
Several lawmakers also asked the data center executives about water usage. They claimed data centers use less water than several other industries and said they're financially incentivized to conserve water. The ribbon is cut for the Texas A&M AgriLife's new Research and Extension Center. Take a look. This is a new state-of-the-art facility on WT's campus, and it's going to be focusing on research into things like beef cattle nutrition and health, even wheat breeding and genetics and irrigation. Officials say they'll use some of the WT ag graduates and undergraduates to help in that work. Some of their research will fix immediate problems in our area as well as looking to the future. Coming up after a quick break, we're going to hear from those at the ribbon cutting and learn exactly how this facility could end up changing the ag industry. The ag industry facing a number of issues on any given year. Problems with water, climate changing, crops being damaged, or land and animals lost to wildfires. But a new Texas A&M agriculture facility aims to research and develop solutions for the now and the later.
About what this new building brings to the Texas Panhandle.
Well, the first thing it does is give us access to some of the great students that come to West Texas A&M to work with us on agricultural research. We find that they have a tremendous work ethic. They already know by and large about agriculture, and so we don't have to train them up on those things. They end up being great students, great workers, and I like to think we add value to their educational enterprise.
It seems like a no-brainer pairing WT up with Texas AgriLife. How did this come to be?
Well, it came to be well before I was center director. I was appointed in 2017, and the first assignment I was given was to build the case to move the Texas A&M AgriLife Research and Extension Center at Amarillo to the West Texas A&M campus. And before too many weeks had passed, I was in Dr. Wendler's office with my bosses, and we were hatching the plan.
Kind of tell me what's inside this building.
We've got about 33,000 square feet of space that'll house about 60 offices for administrators, faculty, and the technical support staff and administrative support staff. We've got some fantastic public use spaces, an event center, conference rooms, and then we've got a spectacular laboratory wing. Features 7 different laboratories across a wide variety of disciplines, and they're all state-of-the-art.
Anybody else?
Brent, talk about the statement this makes for Panhandle agriculture.
Well, as Dr. Wendler said, we're all about partnerships out here, the kinds of problems we're trying to solve, and that's what our research is about. We have to solve them in a multifaceted way as systems. It's gone are the days of easy, low-hanging research fruit. We have to solve bigger problems today, and in order to do that, we've got to have access to a lot of expertise of different kinds, and we've got to have a lot of graduate students to help us make it happen.
Can you talk a little bit about the funding that kind of combined to make this happen?
As I understand it, now that's way above my pay grade, but $20 million were brought to the table by the Chancellor's office, and then Director Lamb and Director Avery each brought another $5 million to the table. So the total budget for the building is about a little over $30 million.
If I could ask, how many employees are you guys having in this building, and how many counties did you say that you guys are going to be serving?
All right, we'll serve all of the counties of the Texas Panhandle. We also serve some that are across in the what we call the South Plains. So it depends on how you count them. But you just take the entire Texas Panhandle and the surrounding regions in our neighboring states. That's really our area of operations for the most part, the Texas High Plains and the surroundings. We have about 60 desks in this office building. It depends on how you count them too, but we have a big room for graduate students as well. So about 60.
Overman says this facility will also play a big role during wildfire season. He says this will serve as a nerve center for coordinating resources and making decisions during wildfire season. We'll have more of the impacts of that facility after a break. Having a home for research when it comes to a wide variety of agriculture subjects, problems, and find solutions. That is the hope behind the new Texas A&M AgriLife's new research building that we've talked about for a few segments now. We spoke with the AgriLife research director to learn a little bit more. Take a listen.
Today was just a celebration for us to be able to move from our Amarillo location here onto the WT campus, where we can be more closely associated with other entities that work in the animals and the livestock type of space.
Yeah, what will be the benefits of this new location?
I think there are many benefits that we're going to find out of this co-location. The one thing that we do is we bring a significant amount of strength and research capacity and power with faculty members that do sort of high-end technical research in terms of whether it's on the plant sciences side, soil sciences, all the way to water and then livestock. And that gives opportunities for students, whether they're undergraduate students or graduate students, master's or PhD students, to be able to work in the labs and to be able to be mentored by some of these exceptionally good scientists. From our standpoint, being co-located, it brings us brings an opportunity to bring people together that are like-minded, working on some of the same issues, and try and resolve those issues just by having an increase in interactions with other people with similar expertise.
And how does it feel for you as the rest of the staff here to finally be at this point where you're showing it to everybody and it's here?
Yeah, it's fantastic, right? We've been planning this for more than 5 years to get this building off the ground, to get it built, and to make sure that we do the best job we can with the resources we have to support our faculty members in terms of their research programs. And so the planning and all that took over 5 years to actually get to the point where we can do the work, it's just a fantastic opportunity. And when we speak to our faculty members, they can't be more excited about being in their new location here.
And I guess how will this help the community?
Yeah, so, AgriLife Research is a state agency, and we focus we're the largest entity that does research in agriculture and natural resources issues outside of the USDA. From our standpoint, we know how important agriculture is to this region. When you think of, let's say, for example, feedlot cattle or cattle in general, 30% of any animal entering the food chain in the U.S. spends 30% of those cattle spend a portion of their life here in the Panhandle somewhere. The dairy industry is the third largest dairy industry in the U.S. is located right here in the Panhandle.
Lamb says this is more than just helping farmers and ranchers. Today, we're talking about things like reducing the need for water or even saving water, but he's also looking toward the future on fundamental things that impact the industry in 10 to 15 years, like growing crops that need less water. Hunger here on the High Plains. As we get closer to the summertime, fewer donations are made to our local food bank. Now they're working right now to get ahead of the problem and the ways you can help. Fight Hunger, Spark Change. It's an easy way for you to donate to the High Plains Food Bank, and it could make a big difference for those who need some food assistance. We spoke with Food Bank's executive director about how it all works.
So every time that you go to a Walmart store or a Sam's Club and check out at the register, you can donate right there at the register, whether you go through a regular line or through a self-checkout. You can donate funds right there, and 100% will come back to the High Plains Food Bank, here in our service area, to help us continue our mission, to help us bring in more food as we get closer and closer to the summer. It's hard to believe that we're getting closer to that, but it really helps us really kick off our summer campaign and help to bring more food in as we gear up for that. But you can also find specially marked packages and boxes and food items within both Walmart and Sam's Club that will have that marked Fight Hunger Spark Change on that, and proceeds will come back to the food bank for that as well. And there's even a special website if you'd like to contribute without even going to the store at feedingamerica.org/Walmart and feedingamerica.org/Sam's Club that you can donate directly there. And it's based on zip code. So every Walmart that's here in the Texas Panhandle, every Sam's Club that's here in the Texas Panhandle, those 100% of those proceeds will come back to the food bank and help us continue to bring in more food. Well, it's always been a tremendous gift for us. Number one, for the support that everyone in the Texas Panhandle gives, every single day. You'd be surprised how quickly, $1 at the register can add up quick, with all the stores that are participating and all the folks who wish to participate as well. But, the generosity of everybody is what helps us kickstart the summer, really. And this year it means more than ever. I mean, we have really seen the highest need we've ever seen since probably last November, since the government shutdown happened, and it's come down a little bit, but we're still, right on the edge of 14,000 households every month that we are helping to support in our 29 counties, and this helps us do that. This helps us bring in the food that is needed, because we can't keep up with sometimes the need that's out there because of just everyone is needing help, and so that's why this campaign really helps us out a lot. Like I said, it's hard to believe that we're ending spring and getting very close to summer, and this will help us get there. We saw a very good into the year in 2025. Everybody was just extremely generous, both in financial and on food. But when we get to the beginning of the new year, usually the first and second quarter, we typically do see that a slight downtrend in food and monetary donations. And yes, we have heard feedback from many folks who said, hey, the cost of living, everything going on is really getting to us now. We don't have the ability to donate as much as we have in the past, and now we're continuing with some other things that are happening, including rising fuel costs. We've already heard from several people saying hey, this has hit me personally, and it's affecting how I can give. But in talking to someone actually about this campaign, like, but wait a minute, I can do $1 at the register. That's easy and simple, and it's just right there. And but it's that impact that having all of our Walmarts and Sam's Clubs participating that really makes a difference, even in the environment we're living in with higher costs of living and with everything just remaining at record highs.
Zach went on to say that right now $1 for them, when you donate, means that they can provide 5 meals. He says with each $1 you give, they can be the ones that maximize how much help is available. We've got more information on how to be a part of that program on our website, myhighplains.com. Speaking of higher costs and helping the community, a local store saw people lining up for one specific product. We'll fill you in on the details after this. Welcome back, everyone. Fill the tank, find a church home. Well, that message brought many people to a convenience store here in Amarillo. So let's talk about what happened. The Refinery Church, Amarillo, filling up people's gas tanks at the Toot and Totem on Taylor and the Boulevard. This was especially for teachers and healthcare workers, as well as the Northside community. Church leadership said they wanted those who feel overlooked or disconnected to feel like they matter and feel loved.
These moments matter. That's what we're seeing today. I mean, it's just overwhelming. I got a great team. We're working hard, and like I said, it's our second year to do this. We did it last year. It's our second time to do it. Way more turnout, and we're super excited about it. Just super grateful to be able to do it, and looking forward to do it again.
Along with filling up tanks, they also spoke to people about their church and invited them to attend services and to find a church home. Butler says they hope to continue doing projects like that in the future. Thanks for tuning in. Have a great week.